Hello everyone, Bolt here once again with a new deck review, this time landjut, and definitely an amazing deck now that I look at it. And I have played with it 1 or 2 times, but I don't know, they were just not upload worthy, really. Not because not that I lost, but it was just not really intense. Anyway, logistics, so a basic loadout, -1 command because I needed those other points in like the support tab and like heli tab and plane tab, so just -1 command. Then the infantry tab, not gonna go through the German units in detail, just gonna talk about them like about the general stats of them. But the reason why I went for the Fallschirmjäger 90 instead of the FKP is really easy. The RPG, just basically everything. 1 MG3 is way better than the Mini-Me in like all aspects. The Panzerfaust 3 is way better than the Cargo stuff, besides the range, but everything else is way better. And the HNK G11 is just way better than the M85 in CQC. It might be better to have this weapon against a helicopter because of the higher caliber, but suppression is the same, accuracy is the same, and stabilizer is actually better on the HNK G11. So overall, Fallschirmjäger 90 is better for the same points. Then we have Panzergrenadiers 90 in Martyr 2s, just an epic combination. Panzergrenadier 90 basically the same as the Fallschirmjäger 90 in terms of loadout, but with a different assault rifle. And they have the same Panzerfaust 3 and the 1 MG3. And the Martyr 2 just wrecks everything with that 10 front armor and that 50 caliber or 50mm cannon. Really amazing in forest as well. Then we have some Panzergrenadier 90s in regular Martyr 1s as a backup unit, because the Panzergrenadier 90s and Martyr 2s cost 60 per unit. These guys cost 40 per unit. And if you're saying go for the regular Panzergrenadiers in Martyr 1s, well, the only difference is 5 points. And for 5 points more, you can get a way better RPG, which can just wreck tanks in like no time. And if you plan to go in forests with this deck and the enemy rolls up a BMPT, you won't be able to take it down with the regular Panzergrenadiers in like 1 shot. And these guys will definitely wreck it with 1 shot, maybe 2. But yeah, 24 AP, it's just gonna absolutely annihilate it anyway. And then we have some reserves, or a late backup unit, not really reserve. Livgarden, 10-man squads, shock training, Carl Gustav M2, the 1 MG3, and a really awesome battle rifle for only 25 points. And compared to the Jaeger, the cheapest variant of the Jaeger totals 15 points total, and for 10 points extra, you get shock training, you get a better RPG, and you get a better light machine gun, so I think that's worth it. You do get more Jaegers per card, as you can see, 23 on trained versus 16 on hardened. That is a big difference. Actually, if we look at hardened, if we would go for hardened, only difference is actually a reduction in two cards or 2 squads, and I think that's worth it. Just try them out, try out the Livgarden. If you don't like them, go back to the Jaeger. The Jaeger have never disappointed me anyway. And then we have the Danish manpads. Absolutely no difference if you go for the Danish one or the Fliegerfaust 2. There's absolutely no difference whatsoever. But yeah, I don't know. I like to use some Danish units in here anyway. But yeah, then in the support tab, you definitely feel the Danish presence here in terms of AA and artillery. Actually, only AA pretty much. So we have the EOTS Hawk, really amazing AA piece. Basically an iHawk without radar and with a reduced range on nothing basically. But if we compare to the iHawk Pip, if we had it, it has like 300 meter less range on airplanes and like 300 less range on helis, and 10% less accuracy. But for that, you get an AA piece without radar. So if the enemy is rolling up seed, you would just laugh your ass off while you keep plucking them out of the sky. And then we have some automatics, just an amazing AA piece. I do think they should change the range a bit, make it more focused on helicopters instead of airplanes like that. I mean, the same range on an AA piece on helis and airplanes is kind of never seen before. So I think that should be, I don't know, 2500 on airplanes perhaps. But yeah, everything else is pretty awesome. And then we have the Roland 2s on wheels, and this is just to support my quick heli insertion with my infantry. 150 kilometers per hour on road. Pretty nice range on airplanes, really high accuracy, and on helicopters it has a range of 2450, but that is no problem, because if you see like an Mi-24, just drive up to it with 150 kilometers per hour and you'll be there in like 2 seconds and fire off a missile. Then we have some cluster artillery, the Mars, and this is the German one. and just a really good cluster vehicle. 2 of them with 12 rockets each with 6 AP. So yeah, that will do a lot of damage. And then we have the Danish artillery, the M109, and again there's no difference between this one and the German one. Exactly the same stats, as you can see. No difference. Only difference is really the MMG, but who uses MMGs on their artillery anyway. But yeah, actually I'm gonna go for the German one just to... Yeah, let's get them on train as well. Just to, you know, keep it organized a bit. Danish, German. There, nice. Then we have the tank section, all German. No real use to go for Danish units. The Leopard 1A5 is nice, but for the same price... well, actually, for like 20 points extra, you can get a Leopard 2, which has 5 more front armor. The same cannon, pretty much. And, yeah, just 5 more front armor for 20 points extra. That's just a no-brainer, really. Well, yeah, or you can go for the 1A5, which is basically the same as that 1A5 that the Danish have. That's exactly the same, actually. So I don't really think it's useful to go for Danish units. I just went for the Kyler to kill infantry and still be able to kill tanks. Leopard 2A4 to really just wreck tanks, and 2A5 to annihilate tanks. So, yeah. Then the recon, only Danish units actually, and that is quite a surprise. And if we look at the Cayuse here, the 45-point recon heli, and compare it with the Bo 105, the Cayuse is better because it goes faster. It has better autonomy and fuel capacity, and that's the only difference for the same price. Other than that, like the strength is the same, optics and size is all the same, but it is faster, so that might be a big plus right there. I did not go for the Patu Tiger. I just find it to be too pricey for really what I use. But yeah, apart from that, I don't really have a land, like a vehicle recon, because I just didn't have the points. I just needed to spend that somewhere else. But if I were to go for a vehicle recon, I would probably go for the Lucius, the Lux AI or A1. Yeah, the Lux A1 with that 20mm MG3. Then we have the vehicle tab. Only 1 Danish unit, the Larto 2, and I actually went for this instead of the, let's see, where is it? The Weasel Toe 2, because, well, it goes faster on and off-road, which is kind of weird because this guy's on wheels and this one is on tracks. But, yeah, if I'm going to do an armored push, I might need something that is really fast, you know, just get close, fire off a toe or two, and then just fall back. But, yeah, if you want something armored, I do recommend either the Weasel Toe 2 or the Jaguar 2, because the Jaguar 2 is really armored. 3 front armor, 2 side, 1 back, 1 top. And yeah, apart from that, I don't know. I usually use AT gems to roll up, fire off missiles, and just fall back. And it has worked out so far, even with like Humvee toes or something, or UAZ toes. But yeah, we have 8 of these Larto 2s. Then the heli tab, 1 Danish unit and 1 West German unit. We have the Bo 105 with the Stingers of the West Germans, and we have the Fennec Toe 2 of the Danish of Denmark with the 4 Toe 2 missiles to wreak havoc everywhere. Then the plane tab, mostly Danish actually. So instead of the KWS, which we usually go for with our Danish decks, we went for the Block 15, which is way better. 20 points less. It does have 10% less ECM, but for that you get a better turn radius, you get a faster plane, you get better missiles, you get the M9M instead of the M9L, which is a way better sidewinder, and well, you do get a reduction in long range missiles, but for that you can get 2 of these guys on elite instead of 1 on elite, so that might be a big plus. And if you don't like to go for 2 on elite, just go for 3 train and you won't be disappointed at all. Then if you want to back that Block 15 up, just go in with a Malu. I just call it the Malu. I know it's an MOU, but I just call it the Malu, which has the fire and forget MRAMs. That might be a big plus actually. 60% accuracy. Just roll it up behind the Block 15 and you will kill out any jet. And if you see AA firing at you, just kill it with the Mavericks. Then we have the Tornado ECR for seed capabilities. Really nice seed plane. We have the Draken WDNS. I would probably call it the Wands, because is it the Wands? No, it's probably a WDNS. Anyway, I will call it the Wands, the Draken Wands, with 6 500 kilogram bombs. And I actually went for this one instead of the Tornado IDS because it has more bombs, of course. And same ECM, I think. Yeah, same ECM. And then we have the Starfighter to drop some napalm anywhere. But yeah, that was pretty much my landjut deck, and I will do some gameplay videos in the future. I just did not really have the time since I was doing a lot of Attila, and yeah, I just really didn't feel like playing Wargame really. But there will be more videos in the future, so just stay tuned for that. But yeah, if you did enjoy this deck, just try it out in the description, and I mean the code is down in the description. So yeah, just try it out. Just copy and paste it into your Wargame. Remember to remove that one symbol that I always tell you about if it doesn't work. And yeah, if you did enjoy, do all the good stuff, and I will see you guys back in the next one.